Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
You can't live without. This is Big 12 Media Day coverage live from Frisco, Texas. Presented by Omada Real Estate. Buying or selling a home? Trust the experts at Omada Real Estate. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is Big 12 Media Day. Sky Girard, the coach Tim Lacombe, Patrick Hanahan, and you can't talk Big 12 football or the Big 12 Conference without bringing in the legendary.
This guy is a legend.
Barry Tramel. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm great. I'll be honest with you. I'm having a swell time just meeting all my friends from Utah. Yeah. Had dinner with all my Oklahoma people, and all not all that committed to the league. Apparently, they drove home at 6:30 last night.
Oh, because Oklahoma State was done?
Yeah, because OSU was finished, and I don't know what they were thinking. But anyway, so I actually ended up having dinner with 3 Utah writers last night. So we had a great time. So got to see all my pals at Brigham Young. And, I don't know the Utes crowd that well yet. But I got to meet some of them. So, I enjoyed it. I learned a lot about the state of Utah last night because, I love geography. So they lectured me. They informed me about I had all kinds of questions about Logan and Ogden and St. George and where's
Provo?
I'm pretty well versed on Provo. Where's Utah? Is Utah Valley and St. George? Oh, Orem. Okay, Orem.
It's just right off the freeway. It's the university exit.
So you pass it on your way to BYU.
Right, oh, that's right next to Provo. What's where's
Cedar City?
Cedar City. Cedar City's the one I was
Utah,
thinking. That's the one I was thinking of, Cedar City, yeah.
Well, all the appearances you made on radio, you're pretty much an honorary member of the
100%.
Utah media.
His voice is very familiar.
Yeah, I listen more, so that's kind of how I got into it.
Tim coached basketball at BYU and Utah, and then joined us here
in April.
A couple months ago.
Oh, fantastic.
But I've heard you enough, through the years, because I just listened to these guys all the time when I was coaching. I was like, that's Barry Tramel. Let's grab him.
Sometimes you're born with things that you'd think you'd be a detriment, but you can turn them into a strength, and one of them's my voice. I got about the most oaky voice anybody's ever had.
I think it's the coolest voice on the planet.
You can't run from it, so you might as well embrace it. So, when you get this old, you got to stand out somehow.
Yeah, that and the white hair. You've had that white hair for a good long while. Yesterday, our guy, Brett Yormark, right off the bat, now's not the time to talk about Texas Tech. Well, he's supposed to come on, and my first question is, when's it going to be time? All right, you don't want to talk about it here, but you said now's not the time, which implies that there's going to be a time. Yeah. What did you think of all that give and take? Because you got I looking on social media, the Texas Tech media thinking they're hitting them hard, and then the outside media, come on, guys, quit being apologists for this. So you got that going back and forth.
First of all, you're right, Brett. Straight on, the Big 12 screwed up. The way you handle that, if you don't want to take questions all day, I understand that, but you come out and say, listen, I know we've had a rough summer with Tech. Tech went through some trouble with Brendan Sorsby. No fault of theirs. But we worked through it, and this is, give a statement and explain it, in the most polished way you want, and then say, and we're not going to talk about it anymore because we got football to talk about. It's not fair to Tech to drag it through. But just to say, we're not going to talk about it. This is not the time. This is not the time. You said, when is the time?
Yeah.
Yesterday was the only time.
And then get rid of it. Then it's done.
Yeah, and literally there's not a better time to do it. Mm-hmm. That's the only time. And they passed on it. Well, I mean, does Brett Yormark have a monthly press conference?
Yeah, I know.
Is he on the teleconference? No. I mean, that was the time. But then you have somebody asked a decent question to start with, and that's when he said we're not going to talk about it. And then the Yardbird from Lubbock. he somehow pulled in OSU's paddle people.
Oh, yeah.
They're catching strays.
Cincinnati.
And, somehow the tortilla, the tortilla flats problem, and then tying all that in and got the victim mentality. The
Yardbird.
Listen, the guy deserved it, but it was still a little icky because of the way Brett did it. The guy's on one end and Brett's on the other end of the.
And what do you do? You tell him to come closer or
something? No, he says
stand up.
He walked all the way to the other end.
Is that what it was? Because we're down here. We're on the opposite
He walked
end
all the way
radio.
to the end, and then and the guy didn't stand up. And you're supposed to stand up, and the cameras can get you. And he didn't stand up. So Brett said, "Stand up." And he didn't say this, but like you're supposed to. And then he said, and repeat the question. And the guy must either memorize the question or repeated it.
I think he had it written down, didn't he?
Maybe written down or either one. I didn't see if he was sitting right close to me. But he repeated the question almost verbatim. And Brett, like any smart interviewee, he took the little piece of thing that he could really attack and forgot all the rest, which, I don't know what to say about the paddle people myself. But Brett had said, we're more than 12 or something, talking about the. And the guy said, how are tech people supposed to believe that?
Right.
I got very little patience for victims mentality.
Yeah.
That just wears me out.
It's so prevalent.
So, but Brett said, you're misquoting me. I didn't say that. I said, we're strong at 16. Thank you for your question. And that's the only thing he addressed. The whole thing was a fiasco.
I appreciate your question.
Yeah.
The craziness of all of this, though, is I think all of us just assume that, the judge would say, you can't play. Come on, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and it seemed like the one thing that actually brought everybody together in college football was a disdain of Texas Tech and this Brendan Sorsby. For once, everybody seemed to be on the same page.
Everybody in America agreed because it's just so black-letter law, right? It's ingrained in our society. Back when baseball was king, people learned in 1920, you can't do this or it could kill the game. And then all of a sudden, they did find a good judge. Now,
that may have been the judge asking the question yesterday.
I could neither confirm nor deny whether it was. But talking about what Brett could have done, I thought it was one of the Big 12's finest hours because look how often courts are deciding stuff, and we don't have. It seems like whatever anybody wants, they get in court.
Yeah,
just find the right judge, the right court, you're golden.
Right.
And the Big 12, the little old Big 12, not the conglomerate conference of the Big 10, not the crazy conference of the SEC that rules the world. The Big 12 had the legal smarts to hire lawyers to, run a counterplay and beat those guys.
Right. And they had to.
I was lucky. I actually had, talking about court, one of the guys that's won in court this summer is Owen Heineke, the Oklahoma linebacker. Mm-hmm. He played 15 minutes of lacrosse in 22 and then transferred to Oklahoma, went out for the football team, made the football team, and now he was seeking an extra year because that 15 minutes of lacrosse counted against him. NCAA denied his appeal, so he sued. And he got and he won the injunction. Actually, the judge is a friend of mine, Thad Balkman, who's a BYU grad.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd been in Oklahoma forever, was in the state legislature. And Thad's a really sharp guy, and we had lunch, and he explained why he ruled for Heineke, and he said there's just too much exceptions by the NCAA. He said he's a pretty easy case.
Candy.
Pretty easy case for him, he thought. But anyway, the guy who defended and won that case for Heineke, I had never met him, the lawyer. I met him at the court hearing, and he said, let's have lunch someday. We scheduled a lunch, and we literally had lunch 2 hours after the Big 12 filed that federal case. So I got it fresh on his mind, and he explained the whole thing to me, and he said it was a brilliant judicial, a legal maneuver. He said not everybody would think to do this, but he said as soon as I saw it, I said that's exactly the proper move, and that's probably going to carry the day. It turned out it did. And so that's something to be proud of for the Big 12. I mean, they
stood up.
They should,
and they had to.
And they should stand up and say, "Listen, we all love Tech. We all love Brendan Sorsby. We wish him well, but we can't gamble on our own team's games." And we found a way to work it out. So I thought they should have done that also, but they didn't.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
So when you look at the conference, I think everybody, even without Sorsby, has Texas Tech 1, BYU 2, and then maybe Utah, Arizona, like 3, 4 in that. Would you agree with that?
I think when Sorsby got flipped out, I think I'd move BYU to the top. I think Will Hammond's a good prospect, but if Will Hammond was all that in a bag of chips, two things. They wouldn't have spent $5 million on Brendan Sorsby, and they wouldn't have tossed their reputation out the window in trying to keep him. So, I mean, I think he could be a really good quarterback, but I think we don't know that yet. We know Sorsby's good. I watched him several times last year. He's really good. He was going to help Tech. That was going to be a big upgrade. Now I don't know if Tech will have an upgrade at quarterback. Maybe they will, but I don't know that they will. BYU is going to be a lot better at quarterback this year because Bachmeier, second year, sort of got thrown in the fire as a true freshman and played really well and solid, but he's going to be way better this year, I think. So I'm pretty optimistic about the Cougars.
Yeah. What do you anticipate from Morgan Scally?
You know much?
I don't know much about him.
You followed, I mean, obviously looked up his resume and where he's been. He's obviously been right there with Kyle.
Let me just say this. More than 50% of what I know about Morgan Scally I learned last night from my Utah guys that really educated me on stuff.
Well, an Oklahoma guy at the Tribune where I used to work is on the beat, Jason.
That's right. Jason, that's who I had dinner with, plus the two KSL guys who cover the BYUs and the Utah.
Our digital guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I like Scally's I like his youth. When I hear about a long-time assistant coach, I always think of somebody older than 40. Is he 40? I think
46.
He's 46?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like the fact that he's still in his prime.
Sure.
But has been around forever.
Yes.
That strikes me as a good combination. And keeping your culture. I know the Whittingham departure was strange and fractured and all kinds of political stuff going on, which I don't claim to understand. But Scally was able to keep most of it together. Fortunate that Whittingham, I think, went to a place that had a quarterback. Yeah. So it was sort of clear that Dampier was going to stay.
Yeah.
I think Dampier's better than Bryce Underwood. So, the 5-5 deal.
He might be right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe long term. NFL-wise, because Devin's shorter. But I get your point. He's ready to go today.
I think he's a better college quarterback. I don't
think there's any question
Michigan played at Oklahoma last year. And I know he's a true freshman, but paying him a ton of million.
He might need to get beat out by Carr's younger brother,
he just wasn't
the Notre Dame
good.
guy. Right.
He just wasn't that good.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I like Dampier a lot. I assume Scally's defense will be solid. So I like Utah pretty high up. And Houston, I would add to the list and make a top 5. I love Willie Fritz. All he does is win ball games. And Arizona is my favorite story. Noah Fafita is my favorite story in college football.
Stayed loyal.
Nobody does that.
Everybody jump ship.
And if somebody said you're the creator of the universe, you get to decide who wins the national title this year, I might say Arizona. I think it would be fabulous if that happened at Arizona, just because this is a guy, he's had 3 seasons as a starting quarterback. 2 of them were great seasons. 1, he wasn't very good. That sophomore year, he went down. But freshman and junior, he was really good. And anybody in America would love to have him and tried, I'm sure, to get him.
I think he's a great passer. He's a great college quarterback. The only reason he's not in the NFL is he's too short.
Yeah, he's a short
kid. If he was 6'2", he'd be in the NFL right now.
What is he, 5'10" or so?
At best.
You know, I covered when he was a freshman, they beat Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
When a wild shootout. I mean, it was sort of an interesting. Him and Jackson Arnold were up against each other, and Fafita clearly was better.
Yeah.
And
he's a very good quarterback.
So I love Fafita in Arizona.
I got a tidbit for you that you might be able to use somewhere down the line on Morgan Scalley. So his senior year is Urban's last year, right? And they bust the BCS and they go and do what they did there on all that great season. Urban goes on to Florida, blah blah blah. Well,
it's 04, right?
Yeah,
they beat Pitt.
Yeah, they hammered him in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
And they hammered everybody that year. So Morgan's not sure what to do. So in 2005, we had at the time, so DJ and I have been we're in our 25th year of doing this crazy morning show, right? So we were we would have been 3 years into it. They had a thing right after us. They call it the red and the blue. They had an ex-BYU guy and an ex-Utah guy. And for a year, right after our show, the ex-Utah guy was Morgan Scalley.
Really?
Sports radio guy.
He did a year of radio.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And
so I saw him every day. He was on.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we went from 6 to 10. That show went from 10 to noon.
Maybe I'll ask him about that today. I'll ask him if he made the right decision getting out of radio.
Yeah, so we had him on this morning because, of course, we know him. He's a local kid, played local high school ball.
Okay.
So we've known him almost, since he was 14 years old. And I saw him every day. So we said, yeah, you're one of us, man. If you can do it, that gives us a chance that we can do it too.
We can be a head coach too.
And obviously he took a sacrifice in terms of the money because, you're just killing it over here.
So that might be something you can
that'd be
put
fun.
out there, yeah.
That'll be fun.
You think for the whole year?
Let me ask you, you guys think, will he be able to create or maintain the same kind of just consistency that Whittingham did for 20 years? I mean,
I think the only thing that would stand in the way is NIL money, and they got this private equity thing, and I'm sure you've heard about that. As long as they can be competitive financially, I just don't see a reason why it would drop off.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
And culture's the key. And when we talked today, we asked Morgan kind of what he's hoping for, and he said that the culture shows up on the field. So he's invested in the right things. He's been doing it so long, and I do think there's parts of it too that he'll, like every guy, they'll come in and put their own little, their own personality into the deal. I think it'll be a little more loose. I mean, I think Kyle liked things super tight, but at the same time, I think that culture will be that'll be the difference.
You'll cover that Oklahoma at Michigan game, right?
Right. I'm going to the big house.
Yeah, and obviously that's Kyle's second game. Huge game.
Yeah.
Well, Morgan admits this. The defensive philosophy, which is at BYU right now too, it comes from Kyle's father, Fred Whittingham, who's deceased. He played, was a defensive, played in the NFL a little bit, but longtime defensive coordinator, coach in the NFL, coached at BYU under Lavelle Edwards, went to Utah under Ron McBride. So everybody, Kyle, Morgan, Gary Anderson, who was at Utah State,
Oregon
State, and
Wisconsin.
Yeah. He's a Utah kid, and so he learned it. Kalani spent 10 years under Kyle, so he learned it, and now Gary is essentially, what would you call him, a special assistant at BYU? Yeah. So he's on the BYU staff. So and Kelly Papinga, who's now the defensive coordinator, first year. His brother Brady played in the NFL a long time. He said, I've never coached under a Whittingham, but we run the Fred Whittingham defense. And Fred has been gone for 20 years now.
Oh, wow. Was he a high school coach?
He played at BYU a little bit, then left, went to Cal Poly as San Luis Obispo. Played in the NFL, was on the Saints and I think Cowboys. And then he was with the Rams. Was he with the Raiders?
I think it was just the Rams.
The Rams. But he coached at BYU under Lavelle because he played for him. And then he was a coordinator, and Kyle was a linebacker.
So he was Lavelle's coordinator.
Yeah, and then he was also at Utah under Ron McBride, which is when they hired Kyle out of Idaho State. And then Fred left, and then Kyle took over as a D coordinator.
And now that defense is finally being exported out of the state of Utah.
Yeah.
To Michigan. Well, that's interesting.
Well, Barry, we appreciate you coming by, man.
You bet. Enjoy it all the time.
Legendary Berry Tramel.
Thanks for having me, guys.
The legend himself.
Yeah.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.